Hello everybody, welcome back to another Darkest Dungeon modded class guide. It's been about a month since I did my last one. I think the last one I did was the Wanderer. I did that in early July, and then there was some development stalls, so I sat on it for about a month and a half. So I really haven't even played Darkest Dungeon that much. I've been playing a lot of Battle Brothers, so go watch my guides on those. That's a great fucking game. I'm sure if you love Darkest Dungeon, you'll love that game. I guarantee it as much as I possibly can. But anyway, today we're going to be looking at the Cataphract. Now, the Cataphract, if you want to see some gameplay of the Cataphract, I have a video on this channel where it does 114 damage to a swine drummer because he gets some damage buffs. It's pretty funny. I thought so anyway. So this class is it's kind of interesting. It's got 2 healing abilities and 5 damage abilities, and the way I think it's meant to be played is 2 strongest abilities kind of boomerang it between positions 1 and 4. But the way I've found I like to play it is I don't really use it as a healer, and I don't really use the boomerang thing either. So maybe I'm just playing this unconventionally. If you comment below if you think you have a way that I'm like doing it wrong, tell me. I'd like to get to know this class better. But getting into the stats, as we always do, we start with 48 HP, which is a little bit above average. You have 25 dodge, which is average and not very good. You have 5 speed, which is below average. And for me, isn't that big of a deal, because the skill I like to use here, Pin Down, buffs your speed by 3 every time you use it. So after 1 turn, you'll be at 8. 8 speed's very respectable. After 2 turns, you'll be at 11. And 11's max where you'd want to be. That's about where your healer should be, or at least close to it. You have 8 to 15 average damage, which is like kinda mediocre. It's not great. Some of your skills have plus damage mods on them though, so that makes up for it a little bit. Your crit is 7%, which is a little bit below average, but it's okay. Your skills again have some decent crit mods on them. Alright, going into resistances, you have 100 stun resist, which is a little bit above average. You have 80 blight resist, which is bottom of the barrel. 90 bleed resist. I'm not sure how this guy doesn't have amazing bleed resist. I think he's a skeleton. I'm not sure. He also is wearing entirely heavy armor, so I don't know how he's getting bled. That's besides the point. He's got 90 debuff, which is average. He's got 100 move, which is like slightly above average, but he can really work in most positions, so that's kind of fine. And he has 80 trap, which is average. And he has 30 disease, which is also average. And he moves 1-1. 1-1 is not that good, but a lot of his skills move him like forward 1 or back 1, or forward 3, back 3. So movement really isn't much of an issue. There's not a lot of times where I want to be moving in this character, or a lot of times where I would not be able to just use a skill to move forward rather than just actually having to select move. Now, going into said skills, we start with Thrust. Thrust, I don't use this skill that much because of the way I like to play in position 4, and Thrust cannot be used from 4. It's usable from 1, 2, 3, can hit 1, 2, 3, has a pretty okay damage mod and a pretty okay crit mod, and it moves you forward 1. So the thing here is you want to be in position 4 a lot of the time, and you can't use this ability. So you have to be really in position 1 to use this ability, or you use this to when you're out of position to get back into 1. So I don't really like it that much, just because I don't find it to be like this might be something I'll use. Like I might use Onslaught, which moves me forward 3, and then maybe I don't kill the guy, so then I have to use Thrust as like a cleanup. That's really the only time I would use Thrust, so I don't think very much of it. Now, the opposite of Thrust is Winnowing Volley. Winnowing Volley is a back one from 2, 3, 4, so when you're in position 1, you can't use it. Kind of like how you can't use Thrust from position 4 to move forward. Winnowing Volley is definitely worse than Thrust. I don't like this ability that much. I don't like it at all, really. It hits all 4 targets and does like no damage to any of them, which means you're essentially doing nothing. It's good if you have like multiple units on low HP, but I feel like a lot of time what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to DPS down certain targets, and just kill them. So there's not a lot of... I feel like I'm not using this that often for kills. What I am using this for is row 1 damage. I really would only want to use this for row 1 when I'm in row 4. Because if I'm not in row 4, I would just use thrust and hit row 1. So it's kind of okay. Let's go into the other 2 damaging abilities here. We have, well, okay, let's say we have Pin Down. Pin Down is your, kind of like, it's in my staple ability. It's 4, position 4, hits 2, 3, 4, not 1, which is why I want Winnowing Volley to hit row 1. Has good accuracy, a plus damage mod, good crit mod, and I was talking before, it's got the self-speed buff, which is super duper strong. Which is why I don't really care about buffing speed that much on this class, because I would do it anyway, because I start in row 4 and I buff my own speed. This is a great ability. I use this near all the time. Bread and butter. Now, stronger version of Pin Down is Onslaught. It is a row 4 only, hits 2, 3, 4. Again, why I'm stuck using Winnowing Volley to hit row 1. Because I can't use Thrust, because I'm in row 4. It moves forward 3, has a big O damage mod and a big O crit mod. It's a great ability. This is super duper strong. Yeah, Onslaught is super duper strong. The only issue with it is that it's not twice as strong as Pin Down. So you use Onslaught, and then you can't use it again. So you have to use Wheeling Disengage, which is its counter ability. So I could just use Pin Down twice and get 2 plus 10% damage mods, or I can get a plus 30% and then a minus 75%. I'd rather just use Pin Down twice, which is kind of my issue with Onslaught. But the good thing about Onslaught is the forward 3 allows you to start using your healing abilities, which are only available in row 1. Now, like I was talking about, Wheeling Disengage is your kind of anti-Onslaught. You start in row 1, go back 3, as, you know, contrary to row 4, forward 3. You do basically no damage. Your crit's cool, and you hit 4 guys, so you're probably gonna crit, just, like, likely. The good thing about this, though, is the debuff. It's minus 18%, minus 18 accuracy, and minus 6 speed. 6 speed's fucking huge. That's a awesome fucking speed debuff there. Accuracy debuff, too, is also really strong. I do like this ability. I don't use it that much. The thing is, you'd have to use this on row 1. There is no other time to use this other than row 1. Turn 1, because when you're midway through, you probably already killed somebody. The speed debuff hasn't mattered, like, you're stunning people, it doesn't really matter, you're probably already going ahead of people because you have high speed, and my main gripe with this ability is it's a speed debuff coming from a guy with 5 fucking speed. So half the enemies have probably already gone. So I don't care about a speed debuff. I'd rather just kill them. Like, row 3 or 4 should already be dead by the time turn 1 ends, which means the speed debuff wouldn't actually matter to them. And the front row guys already have low speed, like the Bone Defender or whatever the hell. You're already going to go ahead of them, especially if you're using Pin Down to get a plus 3 speed buff, and you're using speed trinkets. So I don't really care for this ability as, like, that much. Like, it's okay, and it lets me use Onslaught again, so you could just bounce between row 1-4, 1-4, 1-4. But that's really it. The best thing about this is that it lets me use Onslaught again. And that's not that great to have as an ability. So finally, after Thrust and Winnowing, and then Wheeling and Onslaught, and then Pin Down, we now have our 2 healing abilities. We have Banner of the East, which is a 3 to 12 range, and it buffs 18% prot, buffs self 18% prot, but can heal anybody 3 to 12. I don't like this ability that much. The prot buff is certainly nice. 18% prot is nothing to sneeze at. But 3 to 12, this is kind of like an occultist heal, except the occultist is 0 to 32. So it's like anything above 10 is like a good heal. Like a Vestal can heal 10, so 10 and above is good. So the occultist has like a 60% chance to do good, you know? It doesn't feel like it, but it is. And then 3 to 12 though, you're likely not doing shit. Like, oh, you have a 50% chance to heal from like 3 to 7. Like, that's really awful. So I don't like this ability, especially when you compare it to Warmth, which is a full party heal. And party heals are the best, because you get multiple people off death's door, which is just amazing. This is so much better than this. The reason, like, Divine Comfort is better than Divine Grace for this very reason, except the Vestal's other skills are trash. Like, Mace Bash is trash. You can't, whatever, the Hand of Light is also bad. So you get to pick both of them, and, like, that's the meta. But on this, you have other damaging abilities, so you probably don't want to be taking both of these healings, in which case I would always take Warmth over Banner of the East. On to camping skills. You have your 3 normal ones. You have Polish Armor, 10% prot for time cost 2. There's so many better things you can be doing than that. I wouldn't really use this unless you just kind of have it and you don't need to use it and encourage. Men Banner is not good either. Healing received is kind of cool, I guess. Makes you a better healer, but you're already a secondary healer. Like, you're healing for 6. It's not good. It's not good. So, what's that get you? Up to, like, 7? 8? Maybe? Yeah. Nightmare, though. Nightmare is a very strong ability. It's Bandit Sense. So you get the surprise buff for you, and the surprise increase for the enemy, and the nighttime ambush, so it's huge. It's a nighttime ambush for 3. You have a 50% chance to have all your companions get 15 stress. I'd say that's really, really worth it. If you have no other nighttime ambush, or you can only fit 3 cost for your nighttime ambush in, use this. And especially, you can use this afterwards. War Stories, you gain 7 stress, and all your companions lose 15. So you use this, and then whoever gets stress, you could just use War Stories, or you could use Encourage. I would always take these two. These are really, really strong abilities. I would take Encourage, and I'd probably just take Polish Armor, just because Men Banner's bad. Wound Care and Pep Talk are bad. And this is just like the last one. So the way I like to play the Cataphract is I start in row 4. I go Pin Down, I have Onslaught, I have Winnowing, because I have to have some sort of row 1 damage to finish somebody off. And then I'd probably take Warmth. Maybe take Thrust for when I Onslaught and don't want to use... I can't use anything else. Maybe just use Warmth at that point, like pin down until there's one guy left. The issue with these two is usually the guy in row 1 is the one you leave alive, which means at the end of the fight you actually can't do anything because you can't hit row 1, which is kind of why you want Winnowing. Also probably why you'd want some sort of healing so you can push up and then heal. The other issue with this is if you're only moving up at the end of a fight, that means your comp likely isn't suited for being pushed back 1. Like if you're juggling rows 1 and 4, that's happening frequently enough to where you're building it so you know your row 1 guy can use skills in row 2, 2 can be in 3, and yada yada. But when you're only doing it at the end of a fight, you might not really be built for that. Like your row 2 guy might not be able to fit in row 3, and now he's in row 3 because you're trying to use Warmth in row 1. So just be wary of that. I would probably just use Warmth. I can definitely see an argument for starting with Wheeling. Like, if you buff your own speed a lot, you could use Wheeling, then use Pin Down, then use Onslaught, and then probably just use Warmth again. You just drop Winnowing. I could see that being a thing. I don't really care for the juggle, like the Onslaught Wheeling. Like, what else do you take in that case? I guess you just take the party heal, because those are so rare. And then take Pin Down, so then you just can choose to just not Onslaught? I don't know. Thrust? Pin Down is much better than Thrust, so I would want to be using Pin Down. But I don't really know. There's not... Like, the issue here is that the row 4 abilities are just the best ones, so there's not actually that much competition there's not as much as you would think there is. And I don't really like being in row 1. Like, you could do Thrust, Warmth, Banner, and then I guess you'd have to do Onslaught. And then what you would be playing is you would try and DPS some back row down with Onslaught, and then you'd stay in row 1 and be a healer. Because you'd have to have both of the healing things here, because otherwise you would just take Wheeling and then you'd be doing juggles. So you would be a primary healer, but you're not actually that good at healing, so then you would be a subpar damage dealer, because thrust is like mediocre. These are mediocre, and you're using this good ability once. So I'm kind of underwhelmed by his kit, honestly. So I think, like I said, summing it up, I think what I would do is I would go pin down, start in row 4, just use pin down, until I have to use Onslaught to get a kill. I would have Warmth for if I need it, and then I would take Winnowing for my row 1 damage. Now, to use this full party heal to save your ass, you're going to have to be smart, because you can't full party heal in 1 turn. You have to anticipate 2 turns ahead that you're going to need to stop doing damage and heal somebody. Because you're going to have to spend 1 turn to Onslaught, and then the next turn you get to heal. So you have to have, like, fucking foresight out the wazoo to know that 2 turns from now you're going to be needing to heal people. Which I guess you can see coming in a boss fight, but in a hallway fight, like if someone crit strings you and now you are 2 turns away from getting another heal off when you really need it, that's not too good. So I really play this class as a damage dealer that can heal on a good day. That's really it. Going into trinkets, accuracy, damage are very good, as per any damage dealer. I wouldn't bother with healing because you just don't heal enough. You're not a primary healer, and your healing is shit anyway. So healing 2, 50% healing 2 gets you to 3. Does not matter. Cops are... God. Alright. Class trinkets are kind of okay. This one's like good for common. This one's bad because you're a damage dealer and not a healer, and that makes you better at the thing you're bad at and worse at the thing you're good at. This thing's okay. I wouldn't really use this. I don't really... I'm not sure that actually helps you. Minus 15% damage and 25% armor piercing. I'm not sure that's going to help you. I do actually like this one. Haunted Cubes. Because what this does is it kind of actually plays to how I play the Cataphract. You attack, attack, attack with pin down, Onslaught, and then you heal. So I'm already doing this. I'm already attacking a lot and then healing at the end of a fight when I'm recovering. So this just fits into my playstyle anyway. So I do like this. I do like the Haunted Cubes. Scorched Saddle changed recently. It used to be like speed in row 4 or accuracy in row 4 or something. I'm not too sure what it does now. Move resist, don't particularly care, I guess. That's a big move resist debuff though, so that's kind of annoying. Onslaught gets damage, Withdraw gets damage. I don't know what Withdraw is. Wheeling Disengage, I guess? I can't imagine why you'd want to do plus 10% damage to a minus 75% damage mod ability. Even a minus 60%. Like, 10% damage to either of these is bad, because they don't do anything anyway. So I don't actually know what skill this is. Melee attack at plus 2 speed is cool, except you're not using thrust, so you don't get that too much. 10% prot on ranged attack hit, that is good though. You will be using this. You will actually just be getting a lot of prot, but I don't think this is worth it because I'm kind of confused as to what it does, and it's not that helpful. This is okay. I don't have the other 25 virtue chance, 25 scouting, minus stress healing received. That's actually really good. I don't know what the other Crimson Cord is. I don't have it, but I'm not too concerned because the healing damage if afflicted and healing skills if virtuous. So you're not. It's not even synergized. Healing skills. We've said this before. You're not a real healer. 30% healing skills on 2 gets you to 3. 3 gets you to 4. 4 gets you to 5. Like, it's not... You get, like, plus 1 healing if you're virtuous. So if you don't get stressed out, then you're getting nothing. Also, 30% damage if afflicted is good, but that also means you'll probably hit your teammates and do some more damage to them. Like, I don't want to be afflicted, and I don't want to have my buffs come in when I'm afflicted and not when I'm, like, totally fine. So I don't really care about this. I would just go speed. Speed's good. Like, you get the first round, and then you get up to 8, or maybe you get up to 9 or 10. So I would say some speed, not a lot of speed, but some speed's good. Accuracy, damage, and maybe the Haunted Cubes. The Haunted Cubes could be pretty cool. I do like those. But that's really it. You're a damage dealer. You're not a healer. So, just final thoughts on this class. It's okay. I don't really care about it that much, I'll be honest. I don't want to be rude, and it's very well made. Like, the art's great, it's got this cool backstory, cool comic, but it's kind of confused as to what it wants to be, because its skills don't really do a whole lot. Like, wheeling does no damage, winnowing does no damage. This doesn't heal. This is a heal party, so I'm actually okay with that. That doesn't heal that much. You don't buff other people's prot. The guy who you're healing doesn't get the prot buff. This does okay damage. This does good damage, and that does like great damage, but has to be juggled. So you're a lot of nothing. It's very sad. So I would say download this mod, try it out for yourself. You can definitely find good comps for it, and you can do meme comps where you just buff the damage and then just do a bunch of onslaughts like I did, and that's really fun. But overall, I don't know if this is a class that is a must-have. I wouldn't call it a must-have, but I just like having a bunch of classes out there in variety, so I would go for it. I'll hopefully be able to do some more Darkest Dungeons soon. I hope you guys have been okay with the wait. Look at Battle Brothers. Just saying, great game, and I'll see y'all soon.